This yellow lawn looks hungry, but another fertilizer application could make its real problem worse.
Color alone cannot tell you whether grass needs nitrogen, water, oxygen, light, or disease control.
The pattern of damage often reveals more than the shade of green you see. Before feeding anything, close the bag and investigate what the lawn is actually telling you. Today, we will separate genuine nutrient hunger from problems that fertilizer cannot safely correct.
A few simple observations can prevent wasted money, weak growth, and unnecessary nutrient loss.
Healthy color, steady growth, and dense coverage are the first signs that feeding can wait. If mowing is already frequent, extra nitrogen may create more leaves without improving the roots.
Very dark color and lush, floppy growth can indicate abundant nitrogen rather than deficiency.
That is sign number 1. Vigorous turf usually does not need another immediate feeding.
Excessive leafy growth increases mowing demand and can leave heavy clumps that smother grass below.
A constantly dense, damp canopy can also create conditions favorable to several turf diseases.
More fertilizer does not cure fungal disease, and excessive nitrogen may worsen certain disease problems.
Judge color together with growth rate, blade condition, weather, and the lawn's recent treatment history. Recording applications prevents accidental doubling when several household members share the lawn care work.
Sign number 2 is yellowing confined to shade, where limited sunlight may restrict growth.
Grass cannot use fertilizer efficiently when insufficient light is the main factor limiting photosynthesis.
Observe how many hours of direct or filtered light reach the affected area each day.
Thin, stretched growth beneath trees points toward a light problem, not automatically nutrient shortage.
Use a shade-tolerant grass where appropriate, and maintain it near its recommended higher mowing range.
A qualified arborist can assess selective pruning without damaging valuable trees or creating unsafe work. Where sunlight remains inadequate, mulch or shade-adapted ground cover may outperform repeatedly fertilized grass. Fertilizer supplies nutrients, but it cannot replace the solar energy every grass plant requires.
When damage follows a shadow precisely, solve the growing environment before considering additional nutrients.
Sign number 3 is thinning along traffic routes, where soil compaction restricts roots and air. After moderate moisture, a screwdriver should penetrate healthy lawn soil more easily than severely compacted ground. Strong resistance across the damaged pathway suggests compaction deserves attention before any fertilizer decision.
Restricted, shallow roots cannot explore enough soil, even when plenty of nutrients are already present.
Compaction reduces pore space needed for oxygen movement, water infiltration, and healthy root development. Poor aeration during the grass species' active season can relieve compaction when conditions are suitable.
Hollow tines remove plugs. Solid spikes may simply compress surrounding soil without creating lasting relief.
Reducing repeated traffic is essential because aerated soil can become compacted again surprisingly quickly.
Better infiltration confirms that physical soil improvement, not extra feeding, addressed this limiting condition.
Sign number 4 is yellowing near downspouts or low areas where roots remain excessively wet. Waterlogged soil lacks sufficient oxygen, weakening roots and producing symptoms easily mistaken for hunger. Adding soluble nutrients here increases loss risk without correcting drainage or root zone oxygen.
Use identical catch containers to reveal whether irrigation is uneven, excessive, or missing sections.
Unequal collection can explain color differences that appear nutritional but actually follow sprinkler coverage. Measure the collected water, then adjust runtime and coverage using local irrigation guidance.
Correct broken or misaligned equipment before assuming pale grass needs fertilizer to recover.
Root color, firmness, and depth provide stronger evidence than leaf color considered by itself.
Redirect roof water only where local rules allow and where it cannot damage neighboring property. Improved drainage gives roots oxygen and time. Recovery should be evaluated before adding nutrients.
Sign number 5 is wilted, folded grass with lingering footprints during dry weather.
These drought signals indicate water stress, and fertilizer can increase stress when moisture is unavailable.
Check moisture below the surface because brief sprinkling may wet leaves while leaving roots dry.
Where irrigation is permitted, water according to soil, weather, grass type, and local restrictions.
Deep, appropriately spaced watering generally supports deeper rooting better than frequent shallow sprinkling.
Seasonal dormancy is a survival response, not proof that the lawn requires immediate feeding.
Identify your grass and determine whether dormancy is normal before attempting to force green growth.
Sign number 6 is a small yellow patch surrounded by an unusually dark green ring.
That pattern may reflect concentrated urine salts and nitrogen, not a whole lawn nutrient deficiency.
Prompt watering can dilute a fresh deposit where water use and local conditions permit.
A designated pet area can reduce repeated concentrated injury across the main lawn.
Feeding these dark rings adds more nitrogen where the grass may already have an excess.
Straight lines, stripes, or concentrated burns often reveal application error rather than natural deficiency.
Never fill a spreader over turf, where one spill can deliver a damaging concentration.
Fill equipment over a recoverable surface, away from drains, wells, and open water. Sweep stray granules for proper reuse or disposal. Never hose them into the drainage system. Excessive overlap creates dark stripes, rapid growth, and potentially injured turf between lighter passes. Calibration connects spreader output with the label rate instead of relying on an uncertain dial.
Measure the actual lawn area, excluding planting beds, paths, patios, and the house footprint.
Break irregular areas into manageable shapes so the calculated application quantity remains reasonably accurate.
Sign number 7 is spotting or lesions on individual blades, suggesting disease or injury.
Examine the edge of an active patch, where useful symptoms are usually easiest to find.
For uncertain disease, collect a representative sample using instructions from the chosen diagnostic laboratory. Irrigating an already wet canopy can extend leaf wetness and favor some turf diseases. Schedule necessary irrigation so foliage dries reasonably promptly, while still meeting root zone moisture needs.
A sharp mower blade produces cleaner cuts that lose less moisture and look healthier. Ragged mowing injury can create a pale cast that homeowners sometimes mistake for nutrient deficiency. Avoid removing more than roughly 1/3 of the leaf blade during a single mowing.
Wait when conditions are excessively wet, because heavy clumps and rutting can damage turf.
True nitrogen shortage often appears as general pale growth, beginning first on older leaves.
Look for widespread, consistent symptoms rather than one isolated patch beside a path or downspout.
Yellow young growth with greener veins can indicate iron chlorosis, which is different from nitrogen hunger. High soil pH can limit iron availability even when the soil contains sufficient iron.
Overwatering can intensify chlorosis, and additional nitrogen may increase growth without correcting iron availability.
Record whether symptoms affect new or old leaves before choosing any nutrient treatment.
A laboratory soil test is the safest foundation for phosphorus, potassium, and pH decisions.
Follow your laboratory's sampling depth and preparation instructions, because methods can vary between services. Collect multiple cores across one uniform management area to create a representative composite sample.
Sample unusual problem areas separately, because mixing them can hide an important local condition.
Remove surface debris and mix the cores thoroughly without contaminating them with fertilizer or dirty tools.
Prepare and package the sample exactly as the laboratory specifies for dependable interpretation.
Tell the laboratory your grass species and management goals so recommendations match the lawn.
Soil tests commonly guide pH, phosphorus, and potassium, but routine nitrogen testing may be less useful.
If phosphorus is already sufficient or high, adding more offers no useful corrective benefit.
Unnecessary phosphorus can accumulate in soil and contribute to water pollution when transported off-site. Keep every fertilizer off hard surfaces, drains, and waterways where runoff can carry nutrients. Observe label setbacks and local buffer requirements around wells, streams, ponds, and drainage channels. The product label determines permitted rate, application method, precautions, storage, and re-entry directions. The three-number analysis represents nitrogen, phosphate, and potash percentages, not an automatic lawn prescription. Choose a formulation that supplies recommended nutrients without adding those the soil does not require. Nitrogen sources release differently, so timing and watering directions must follow the specific label. Feed during active growth recommended for your grass, not merely when a calendar advertisement appears.
Cool season and warm season grasses have different growth cycles, nutrient demands, and appropriate feeding windows.
Do not fertilize frozen, snow-covered, or waterlogged ground where uptake is poor and runoff risk rises. Do not force drought-dormant turf with nitrogen unless authoritative local guidance specifically recommends treatment. Delay application before heavy rain that could move nutrients away from the intended root zone.
Use the measured lawn area and label rate to calculate only the quantity required.
A border pass and edge guard help keep granules inside the lawn's measured boundary. Walk steadily in parallel lines, following calibrated spacing to produce an even application.
Close the hopper while turning or stopping to prevent concentrated piles at lawn edges.
Water after application only when the label instructs, using enough control to avoid runoff.
Store fertilizer sealed, dry, and securely away from children, animals, food, and drainage.
Sign number 8 is regular clipping return, which already recycles useful nutrients into the lawn.
And small clippings decompose naturally and can reduce part of the lawn's annual fertilizer requirement.
Contrary to a common myth, ordinary short clippings do not normally create problematic thatch.
Remove or redistribute thick clumps when delayed mowing produces material capable of smothering grass.
When serious disease or treated weeds are present, follow local advice for clipping management. Sign number 9 is a thick, spongy thatch layer that fertilizer cannot remove.
Inspect several locations because surface softness alone may reflect moisture rather than excessive thatch.
Thatch consists mainly of slowly decomposing stems and roots, not freshly cut leaf fragments.
When thatch is excessive, vertical mowing or core aeration may help at appropriate seasonal timing.
Aggressive dethatching can injure turf, so match equipment depth and timing to the species.
A dense layer can interfere with water movement and encourage shallow rooting near the surface. Sludge recovery gradually. Structural lawn problems rarely disappear after one treatment or feeding.
Sign number 10 is weed invasion following thin turf, which may have several underlying causes.
Identify the weed first, because its presence alone does not prove the lawn lacks fertilizer.
Weeds near hot pavement may reflect thin coverage, heat stress, and disturbed soil conditions. Moisture-loving weeds in a low area can indicate drainage problems rather than nutrient shortage. Small infestations may be removed manually when the complete root can be extracted safely. Appropriate mowing, irrigation, and soil care help grass compete without reflexively adding more fertilizer.
Loose turf with damaged roots may require pest diagnosis, not another nutrient application.
Confirm the pest and compare numbers with locally established treatment thresholds before taking action.
Not every soil organism is harmful. Many contribute to decomposition and normal soil function. Clear photographs and intact samples help extension specialists distinguish pests from harmless organisms.
Professional help is appropriate when damage spreads rapidly or the cause remains uncertain.
A diagnostic laboratory can confirm diseases that cannot be identified reliably from color alone.
Persistent drainage near buildings requires qualified assessment because incorrect grading can create costly structural problems. Local extension services understand regional grasses, soils, regulations, climate, and current diagnostic concerns.
Good records help experts recommend a targeted response instead of a broad, unnecessary treatment. Where locally recommended, a small comparison strip can reveal whether nitrogen changes active grass growth. Compare color and growth over time, while recognizing that weather and soil variation affect results.
Little response suggests nutrients may not be the factor currently limiting this lawn.
Allow enough time for management changes to work before stacking additional products and confusing diagnosis. Never combine products unless every label explicitly permits the mixture and intended lawn use.
Bleach, salt, vinegar, and improvised mixtures can injure turf, soil life, and nearby plants.
Wear label-specified protection. Clean equipment correctly and wash thoroughly after handling any fertilizer.
One property can contain several problems, so whole lawn treatment may be unnecessarily broad.
Map each pattern separately and match every intervention to the evidence found there.
When evidence supports feeding, treat only the appropriate area at the locally recommended time. For shaded turf, improve its growing environment or choose vegetation suited to lower light.
For compacted turf, restore pore space and remove the traffic pressure causing repeated damage.
For wet or dry areas, correct water delivery before evaluating any remaining nutritional symptoms.
For nutrient decisions, let soil results, grass performance, and regional guidance replace guesswork.
The healthiest lawn is not necessarily the darkest. It is resilient, rooted, and appropriately managed.
Inspect first, test when needed, correct limiting conditions, and fertilize only with clear evidence.
Subscribe for practical lawn science that helps you grow healthier grass with fewer unnecessary treatments.